Greetings collectors and welcome to today's retro game review. You join us in part 11, the final episode of the Sega Saturn Capcom Fighter miniseries. In the last episode, we saw how Marvel vs Street Fighter created a lasting legacy and thrilled Sega Saturn owners. With the life of the Sega Saturn now coming to an end, 1998 saw the last Street Fighter game released in the way of Street Fighter 03. Right from the start, it's clear that the Zero series was going to end on a high. The intro is action-packed and feels larger and somehow more serious than the other entries in the series. One significant upgrade is the number of playable characters. Now up to 34 plus unlockable variations, this is a significant leap up from its predecessor. The second element is the notion of an ISM system. You can now select from X, Z or V style of gameplay. X style is a somewhat simplified mode of accessing the super power-up, whilst Z is more of a traditional Zero style of fighting, with 3 distinct levels of super combo. The V-ism is a varied fighting style that allows custom combos. This all takes some time to sink in, and quite a departure from the previous entries in the series. I tend to stick with the X or Z settings though. In general, the game feels great to play. The game has huge amounts of content and variation, so you're going to have hours of fun getting to grips with this one. It is perhaps the definitive moment in the Zero range of games. It has everything the previous 2 entries in the series had and more. The visuals are spectacular, and has one of the best soundtracks of the entire series. As such, it often carries a very high price tag of thousands of yen. It looks good, sounds good, and by most accounts is the best edition of the game. Interestingly, even though the Dreamcast also saw a release of the game, I've often heard it said that most collectors prefer the Sega Saturn edition. I do own a demo of 03 for the Dreamcast and found them to be reasonably similar. I'll stick with the Saturn edition though, just so I can spend more time with the Sega HSS 104 control stick. Street Fighter 03 has another trick up its sleeve though. It's not just the graphics, audio and control system that have been polished. You'll also benefit from extra game modes outside of the standard arcade mode, such as Survival Mode, World Tour, Dramatic Battle and Final Battle. World Tour and Survival modes are very much as you might expect and just a variation on the standard game. However, Dramatic Battle mode offers something a little bit different. It offers a simultaneous 1-on-2 fight, something previously omitted from earlier games. At first, the mode is somewhat of a novelty, but actually becomes a mode that you'll want to play through, rather than just being a nice-to-have feature. It's not always easy, but it is perhaps the most action-packed mode there is in the entire Street Fighter series. The Final Battle mode is a real challenge for any Street Fighter veteran. Choose your character and face off against Vega. Be warned though, he is maxed out with the highest amount of block and given the advantage of a full super power meter. This is a mode very much aimed at the professionals and those looking to take their skills to the next level. Vega will deal out high amounts of damage per hit and loves to finish with a super combo attack. Overall though, this is an epic way to end the Street Fighter 0 series. So there you have it, the end of our journey through Capcom's fighting games on the Sega Saturn. From a rather dubious start with the Street Fighter movie game, to the Marvel standalone games and a rather great alternative universe of horror in Darkstalkers. We've seen crossovers, hidden characters, and a 32-bit generation that helped re-establish Capcom as makers of fine fighting games. With so much to choose from on the Sega Saturn though, I feel that I owe you a recommendation, so here it goes. If I could only have one game from the list, it would be Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter. It just has everything, the combos, the sound, graphics, and cast to back this one all up as a best in class. As a close second option, I'd have to recommend the Street Fighter Collection. It doesn't work as a collection as such, but 2 classic games plus the reworked 02 makes this an easy choice for anyone looking to dip their toes into the world of Street Fighter. I'd also have to give a very well-deserved nod to Vampire Savior. It's something a bit different. Where Street Fighter games tend to blend together over time, Vampire Savior has a much more memorable cast of characters and a unique identity, so well worth considering for some Halloween fun. Of all the Capcom games on the Sega Saturn, The only one that I would happily give away for free is Street Fighter the movie. It just doesn't work as a game, part of the series, or a true collectible. Every other game is of a really good solid standard though, so you can't go wrong whichever you decide to get off the shelf, dust off and fire up. I'd just like to say thank you all for sticking with this 11-part series, as there was a lot to get through, but I do hope you enjoyed getting reacquainted with this particular slice of Capcom Saturn history. I'm sure that you will all have lots of opinions on the series, so feel free to leave a message in the comments section. I know that Capcom fans are incredibly dedicated, so it would be great to hear which entries you would consider to be the most fun. Until next time, happy gaming! Hello again, I hope you enjoyed today's show and thank you for the view. Remember, you can always comment, like, subscribe and find us on the social media sites below. Happy collecting!